Pearl. It has been 3 long years since we were able to have a graduation, and I think the one thing that COVID has taught us probably more than others is to appreciate the little things. I never dreamed there would be years we wouldn't be able to have a graduation ceremony. It just never crossed my mind. And then to go through COVID and to have everybody isolated, and then to be here tonight and be able to celebrate with family together. And I guess everybody from extended everywhere families wanted to come today. So hopefully we got enough seats out that you have a place to enjoy this evening and celebrate these young lives who have had a few tough years, and we are back to normal and had a wonderful party hosted today at the Tardino home. Give them a thank you. They've been all out making it a really special day for them. So at this time, we are going to begin and with flag salute. And Leah is going to come up as our Vice President to lead us in flag salute.
Please stand. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now to take your seats, Josh Fairley, our other Vice President, is going to come out and lead everyone in prayers.
Please bow. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for letting us be here safe. Thank you for letting us have all this experience, have a moment that they could have since we just
Amen.
At this time, we are going to have the procession of our 6th grade class. I just have to say, take one moment to say something. This is our first Pearl Prep 6th grade graduation ever. And there's amazing stories behind what went behind that and the decision to move the 6th grade over here. But I have to say, one of the times I was the most nervous and prayed the hardest was the time I went in to talk to the 5th graders about our decision to keep them here one more year. I was really testing their love of Pearl by having them stay at elementary school one more year. And I was met with applause after we told them, and I promised them, that they would get some opportunities that they had missed out in 4th and 5th grade. The opportunity to have a grandparents' day, which we had a lovely one in here a month ago. The opportunity to go to Catalina Island, which few classes have missed out on, and to be able to redo those events they would have missed from 5th grade. And though they have challenged me sometimes to regret my decision, I have to say I never regretted it. Was the right decision and the right thing for these students and the future to have the opportunity that they've had and to take that leadership role here at school. So at this time, we present Pearl Prep's first 6th grade class. Morgan Chandler to give her presidential speech.
Thanks, and people change, but their thoughts forever. And one way I've changed is to be a leader and not a follower. When I first came to Pearl in second grade, I was welcomed with lots of friendly smiles. Even though there were many smiles, there was one particular smile that stood out, and that was Mrs. Bullinghurst. She had a very welcoming smile on her face and made me feel like I could come to her for anything, and I was correct. If you were having trouble with something, she'd be very glad to help you out. One thing I remember her doing was when it was time for the egg toss, and every time someone dropped their egg, she cheered us on so we didn't feel bad for dropping it. I accidentally dropped my egg on my friend Caitlin's shoe, and I felt bad, but Mrs. Becker made me feel better. A few years ago, about in 7th grade, we met Mr. Jane for the first time. He was trained to become a teacher for 3rd grade, and he would sub for us a lot. He was, and still is, a very funny teacher. And he always has cool things for his classrooms and had the coolest decor. He had these little chairs that were football and basketball chairs. Every time we had silent reading, people would always fight for the chair and was like, "Can I have the chair? Let me have the chair." But since everyone wanted the chair, he picked one of his journalisticks, everyone sent it to him, and whoever stick he chose, they got to sit in the chair. Another memory from 3rd grade was a squirrel escape. If you didn't know, in 3rd grade, there was a squirrel came into our classroom, and everyone was screaming and going crazy. Even Mr. Jane. Everyone was standing on the desk, and eventually Mr. Warren tried to come in the class and get the squirrel out. That was one of the funniest moments I've ever experienced. Now, although 4th grade was interrupted by COVID, it was still fun. Miss Price was very artsy and joyful. I loved her class. It was very fun as well as Miss Price. We did cool projects for science like dissecting a squid. That was really gross but interesting and cool. 5th grade was very fun as well. Mr. Chang always cheered us up and got us ready for school in the morning. When we were about to leave to get picked up, he would always say, "Have a good day," and we would respond, "You have a better one." But every single time he would say that, he would tell us not to tell him what to do. 6th grade was a very great year. Having Mr. Jane for the second time was really fun as well. He always made us laugh in class and always told very funny stories that inspired us. On Fridays, we would play really exciting games to review what we had learned that week, like Jeopardy, Gambit, Kahoot, and a bunch of engaging activities. One example of why Mr. Jane is such a great teacher happened on our time in nature. Mr. Jane felt bad because on Tony's pizza wasn't as good as he promised. Because he wanted to cheer us up, he offered to buy us all ice cream cones at the parlor next door. This is just one way Mr. Jane is a very good teacher because he does a lot for us even though we're not really the best most of the time, but he does the most to make us happy. So, though I have grown and changed, I hope that the Pearl teachers will always remain the same kind and caring teachers that I have always remembered. Thank you.
At this time, we have some special awards. We'd like to recognize some students for. The first is the Presidential Physical Fitness Award. I'd like to call up Morgan, Caitlin, Thomas, Delilah, Nathan, Midori, Pacifica, and Geronimo. Sorry, I'm a little louder than Morgan. So, didn't want to get that feedback. So I want to talk a little bit, just a moment, about what this award consists of. We have a physical fitness test that they have to meet certain criteria in 5 different categories. So they have to do push-ups, sit-ups, they have to run a mile, which is always the hardest, but they have to do sprints. There's all kinds of different categories. And these students met the highest criteria in all 5 categories. by Noetic. And we had 4 students make National Honorable Mention. And Michael Mueller was the one who had the highest score, who will receive a medal. So come on up, Michael. And Geronimo and Gianna. The next award is actually a special award signed by the President of the United States. The one time I get to sign with the President. And this one, students have to meet 2 different criteria. One is to have a 3.5 GPA, which is actually higher than our regular honor roll GPA. And they also have to score 85th percentile or higher on a national reading or math standardized test. That includes not being a COVID version, but a real version pre-COVID. We had quite a few students, very proud of them for meeting these standards. So come on up, Joshua Fairley, Thomas Gallegos, Ariel Hetty, Bryce Johnson, Midori Lowe, Pacifica Mahoney, Michael Mueller, Isaiah Soto, and Gianna Tam. Give them a big hand that way. Give them a big hand. Okay, we have this. Except for Morgan. Midori. Sorry, Morgan already. Midori, you're up. Midori was our valedictorian. We actually had a 3-way tie for a 4.0. As you can see, this class was a very bright class, and we had to go to other categories. So it finally came down to, we had to look at last year's grades too, and in which Midori also had a 4.0, but the runners up had like a 3.98. So a very tough competition, but at this time, Midori Lowe, our valedictorian.
Good evening, parents, teachers, and the graduating class of 2022. Today is the day we've been waiting for many years ago. Pearl was our first journey, and now it's time to embark on our next. In my experience at Pearl, I've met so many new people, made lasting friendships, and lifelong memories. Everybody has their own unique experiences here at Pearl, whether you joined in kinder or 6th. We've been through our good and bad times, but no matter what, we got through together. For example, COVID. Nobody expected COVID to come, and nobody wanted it to be around. It was heartbreaking not to be around our friends at school. COVID was also the reason why we couldn't go on our San Diego trip in 4th grade and our Catalina trip in 5th. We couldn't do in-person school and had to do video classes. Video classes just weren't the same as being in person with all your friends and your teacher. But because 6th grade moved to Pearl, we still got to go to Catalina, which was one of our favorite trips. We got to have so much fun with our friends, snorkeling and kayaking. Learning about Catalina's history was pretty fun as well. Not only did we learn a lot, but we also got to see wildlife in Catalina and were the first Pearl class to see a bald eagle. I'd like to thank all the Pearl teachers for making my experience special. One of my favorite teachers is Mr. Chang. Mr. Chang's class was extra special because we got to do in-person school after a while of doing school at home. Mr. Chang makes learning fun, and we all have a great time in class. One of my favorite things I did in 5th grade was dissect owl pellets. Ms. Press also did a special squid dissection with our class because we missed out in 4th. It was nice that she went out of her way to do it specifically Mr. Lawrence. He does everything around Pearl, from cleaning to fixing doorknobs, and he works so hard for us. There are many people who have guided us on our journey and people who help us to learn. There are so many at Pearl, we could be here all night if I mentioned them all. This is not the end. You could say we are at the top of the hill, but not the top of the mountain.
At this time, we are going to award the diplomas. Mr. Drain is going to be speaking about each of the students and highlighting some of their special accomplishments and what is special about each one of these students. During this time, when he announces each student, we ask that you hold the applause until he's done speaking about them so that they don't know what he's saying yet, so I don't want them to miss out. And then you can applaud at the end. Meanwhile, I'm going to have the diplomas in the middle, and the students are going to come up. We practiced this, they've got this. And we're gonna be right here in the middle. So, if you are a parent, we're gonna go in alphabetical order. You can come up to the front so you're ready to take the pictures when it's your turn. And we talked about this today. We are going to freeze with our smiles until every last flash stops. We practiced this today. So, we want to make sure everybody gets the picture they want. So, at this time, I'm going to announce Mr. Drain, but first I'm going to turn down the mic so you guys blow us away.
Gotta raise it up. Well, first off, I want to thank all the volunteers and people who helped set up graduation, because it wasn't me. So thank you to all the parents and everyone, refreshments and everything. Couldn't do it without you. As said before, thank you to Ardinos for hosting all of us today at your house. It was a great time. So before I talk about each individually, I want to talk about the class as a whole. So, some of you may not know, I count this year as a great privilege to me. Not only did I get to teach them, but this is the second time I've taught most of them. And in addition to that, I also coach against a lot of them on Saturdays. You know, what teacher can say that? There are times when I have a great week, you know, I have an awesome week, and then I go to Saturday, and they beat me in a game, and I come Monday, and I hear about how they beat me in that game, and now my week's ruined. So, some of you may not know, so when I taught them in 3rd grade, it was actually my first class ever teaching. It was a new experience for me, and they were an awesome group. And I'm sure some of you, it's actually a good thing I got to teach you twice, because Mr. Mendoza, Damien never finished his trumpet from 3rd grade, his trumpet of the swan assignment, so he's going to have to do that. But this class is also great because, you know, not only do I teach them, but they teach me. So my vocabulary has grown by 2 words. I now know cap and mid. Okay? If you don't know what cap is, that means if you're telling a lie, they say that's cap. That's cap. Or if something's mediocre, they call it mid. I don't know. Alright, they're such a fun group. We are missing a couple tonight, but this is the single largest class in Pearl history. Okay, we have 14 boys and 15 girls. So, let's talk about the boys. A lot of them I had taught before, and in 3rd grade, you know, I was excited to see how much they have changed. And you know, what I quickly realized was, you know, I'm glad I'm 6'3" and not 5'5" like Mr. Chang. Some of these guys are giants. I don't know what you're feeding them at home, but keep doing it. Besides that, in 3rd grade, they were afraid of squirrels. And they screamed at a much higher frequency. But now that they're out on the playground, they're hunting the squirrels. And the squirrels are screaming. You know, we added 5 new students to the boys this year, and you know what? They're a phenomenal addition. I can't imagine this class without them. And you know, if they aren't too busy being professional gamers, or Pokemon trainers, or Rubik's Cube tutors, professional athletes, I think we're going to see a lot of famous businessmen from this group. You know, at one point or another during the year, I think each boy had set up their own little pop-up shop at their desk to sell things for drain bugs, which is our class money. I was super impressed, but it got to a point where I had to shut it down because the bank was running out of funds. Now, we all know this was a year of shortages. You know, shortage of computer chips, shortage of cars. But I bet you didn't know that there was a shortage of coffee. And I'm not talking about worldwide. I'm talking about statewide. I'm talking about my hometown Starbucks in Azusa, where I may have single-handedly caused the shortage. They had a picture of me in the window with a big red X saying, "Don't serve this guy any more espresso shots." And it was all because of this next group of people I'm going to talk about. I was a little nervous. 15 6th grade girls in a 600 square foot space for 6 to 7 hours every day. Let me tell you, parents, if you may never have the opportunity or the privilege to experience the amount of fireworks that I was blessed with. You know, Mr. Lawrence had to come in and reinforce the roof because it was starting to move a little bit. I thought to myself, should I make a YouTube channel? Capitalize on this opportunity here? Not just because of the excitement, okay, but because of all the extra money I needed for the espresso shots I was putting in my coffee. But the reason I didn't do it is because Mrs. Moore wanted 50% of the royalties, so I said, I'm out. But after 9 months, I've definitely grown to appreciate them and their differences, who they are as individuals, and spending time with them every day. It's been an awesome ride, and I'm going to tell you a little more about them right now. So this is the moment where our parents, Mrs. Moore will be out. When I say your child's name, we'll go alphabetically. You can come up and take pictures. So we'll start with Mackenzie Chandler. So if I was in 6th grade, I would want Mackenzie to be my friend because she's loyal. She's loyal to her sister, she's loyal to her friends. I remember a time out on the playground where someone said something mean about one of Mackenzie's friends, and all of a sudden these clouds started rolling in, and there was lightning strike, and I was looking around to see if Thor was coming, but no, it was just Mackenzie going after the person, making sure that her friend was okay, and to let that person know you never come with my friend again. So if you're looking for a friend, Mackenzie's the choice. Morgan Chandler. Morgan is our class president, and rightly so. And I don't have this in my notes, but I don't know if you noticed, okay, when she was up here receiving a special award, she let everyone go down first, and she went last, and that's leadership right there. That's our president. So thank you. Morgan, as soon as we came back from Christmas break, she wanted to know, Mr. Drain, how do I speak at graduation? I really want to speak. And I told her, well, you're going to have to be president. So she set that goal, and she made it happen. And actually, she was so confident in herself, she finished her speech before we even elected her president. I look forward, to one day, 25 years from now, when you invite me to the White House to be a special advisor, President Chandler. Ian Cruz. Ian was new to us this year, and the only thing I knew about him going into the year was that he was a USC Trojan in Caruthersville. And I coach Cal, and USC is the team that we hate the most. Okay? But what I'll always remember is that I always went into the weekend happy. You know, and it wasn't because I was getting a break from the kids. It was because Ian told me to. And there wasn't a Friday that went by where Ian didn't tell me to have a great weekend. He is one of the most polite students we have, and that's not just coming from me, it's coming from other teachers as well. So thank you, Ian, for making my weekends great again. Caitlin Dane. You know, in this world, there are things like the Grand Canyon, the Egyptian pyramids, Niagara Falls, the secret menu at In-N-Out, and Caitlin's voice. If you've ever had the privilege of hearing her sing, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, don't worry. She'll be on Spotify's most downloaded artist in the future. You know, I'm going to take credit for this because in 3rd grade, okay, I would play The Greatest Showman, and me and Caitlin, we would jam out, and everyone else was staring at us. But she opened up in that year a Greatest Showman, so I'll take credit for this. So when you make it big, I want free tickets. Thank you. Joshua Fairley. You know, I think I would describe Josh as the most competitive person in the class. And you know, being a competitor isn't something you can necessarily teach. You know, he has that will to be the best no matter what it is. Going back to 3rd grade here, I remember one day someone came in with a fresh new cut. And I said, man, I'm going to call you the Febreze man because it's feeling so fresh in here right now. And then the next day, Josh came in, hair gelled and everything. And I was like, Josh, what are you doing? So I'm going to be the Febreze man. And he was. He wanted to be the best. So Josh, thank you. Your competitiveness was contagious and made me want to be a better teacher. Thomas Gallegos. Thomas, is a soft-spoken individual, but I learned this year he has a sense of humor that I can appreciate. I remember at the beginning of the baseball season, I was hyping up my Cal Bears, telling everyone how awesome they were going to be, and then one Saturday we came up against Thomas and the Stanford Cardinal. We were no match. Stanford handed us our first loss. The next day, as I was licking my wounds and being comforted by my favorite doctor, Dr. Pepper, I received a text from Thomas, and it said, "Hey, how was your weekend?" I said, "Good." He said, "We lost to Stanford." And he replied, "Oh yeah, that was fun." I then threw my phone because I was being force-fed by a slice of humble pie from Thomas's bakery. See, I told you parents, it's just not the students who learn, but me as well. Thank you, Thomas, but I don't want any more treats from your bakery. It's complicated. Delilah Harris. At the beginning of the year, I made a slideshow of all my favorite things to see which students were paying attention and which ones were going to be my favorites that year. And Delilah answered the call. Okay, she brought me a Dr. Pepper. And you know what? I didn't drink that Dr. Pepper. I put it on my desk. And I sat it there because whenever Delilah was pushing my buttons, I would just look at that Dr. Pepper and remember, she likes me. But in all seriousness, what I appreciate about Delilah is, her willingness to help whenever I needed it. She was always the first to volunteer anytime I needed a job done. So, thank you. Nathan Harwood. You know, I think I can safely say that Nathan has matured the most of my third grade class until now. In addition to that, you know, I was impressed this year with his artistic skills. Definitely better than mine. So, you know, a couple of things I'll remember about Nathan are his love for baseball and his love for potatoes. You know, one day he came up to me and started asking me what type of baked potatoes I liked. You know, and he started out with, "Mr. Drain, are you a vegan?" And I looked at him and I said, "Do I look vegan?" You know, that talk led to a year-long saga of potatoes. So thank you, Nathan, and hey, let's go get some French fries after this. Ariel Hetty. You know, Ariel was new this year, but I could tell from very early on she was going to have an influential voice in our class. For April Fools this year, I like to do jokes, and I had this joke. I was researching, and I had this joke. It was called like Fired Teacher. So I got the office in on it. Ms. Zixa came in and said, "Mr. Drain's not going to be your teacher anymore. You know, he can't. Something happened." And Miss Colleen went in there. And she said Ariel was trying to lead a protest. She was gonna storm Mrs. Moore's office and demand you reinstate Mr. Drain or else. So thank you, Ariel. That made me feel so loved. Something you may not know about Ariel, she wants to be an actress when she grows up. You know, which makes me wonder, was that whole April Fool's thing an acting job? Did she really want me back? You know, I'm going to believe what I want to believe. So thank you, Ariel, for your influential voice throughout the year. And that's no joke. Isaiah Islos. You know, Isaiah was another new addition this year. But I was super excited because we have a love for the same sport. We both have the same favorite sport, and that's basketball. You know, Isaiah wants to be a professional basketball player when he grows up. And, you know, with what I saw in his championship game this year, he definitely has that Mamba mentality. You know, I watched him hit multiple shots late in the game that helped his team secure that championship. Also, Isaiah is wise beyond his years. In Catalina, we had to walk everywhere, and our campground was about a little over a mile up a hill. Okay? Yes. All right, and I noticed as we were walking up the hill, the longer we walked, the more backpacks that Isaiah seemed to be carrying, and the more girls without backpacks walking next to him. Now, boys, take some notes. A little kindness goes a long ways. Thank you. All right, Bryce Johnson. You know, Bryce is another one who's matured a lot since third grade, and I've been looking forward to this moment since that squirrel came into our classroom. Because we need to get the record straight here for that moment that goes down in Pearl history. First of all, I was not screaming. I was not on a desk. Okay, yes, I was. Sorry. But the reason that squirrel was in there, I don't want to point fingers, but it was definitely eating almonds that Bryce had left under a table. But no, you know, so that's a great memory. Another one I have this year, so we do auctions. They earn their drain bucks and we do auctions. And one of the things they could buy this year was, I called it an all-day snack pass. Okay, so they could use it and they got to eat. I would give them snacks throughout the day, as much as it was all you can eat. And boy, Bryce, she paid for that in full and she ate. I've never seen so many Takis go to a single individual in my life. So Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, if she didn't eat dinner that night, I apologize. That one's on me. Okay? You know, anyway, when I think of Bryce, I'm going to think of someone who's competitive, encouraging, and just someone who's fun-loving. So thank you, Bryce. Christy Leung. Did I say it right? We practiced all day for this moment. Me and Christy, did I get it right? You know, Christy, again, was someone I had in 3rd grade, and I remember she would always try to crawl under the desk across from one side of the room to the other. And, I would just let her go a little ways, let her believe, hey, I'm going to make it across the room this time. And then I would wait until she got to that last moment, and I go, Christy! She'd be like, okay? But I believe, Christy, that all that crawling led you to be the push-up champion for the girls this year. Okay, Christy did 34 push-ups. How many of you out there can do 34 push-ups right now? Not me. I think I can do 4, but not 34, so that's impressive. Also, Christy made it a goal this year. She really wanted to get into Mrs. Moore's math class, which is an advanced math class. And, it was tough, but she worked hard, she persevered, and eventually she reached that goal. And, I'll never forget the celebration that ensued when I announced that she had made it, and it was just awesome to see. So thank you, Christy, for all those memories. Midori Lowe. Midori is self-motivated, she's disciplined, and she expects a lot out of herself, which is why I believe she was our valedictorian. And I don't even know if she broke a sweat. She did sweat, everyone. It's confirmed, there was sweat. Not only is she great in the classroom, but she also excels in athletics. She had the fastest mile time in the entire class, 7 minutes, 1 second. And if I know Midori, that 1 second has probably caused some sleepless nights here. So hey, I got my watch. If you want to go out and run the mile after this, I'll time it. We'll get it going. All right. But with all this success, you would think maybe she makes it known or praises herself, but no, Midori is an extremely humble person. She's someone that, doesn't need to eat at Thomas's Bakery. Okay? So thank you, Midori, for setting an example, not only for your classmates, but for me as well. All right, Madeline Lopez. Before this year, the only thing I really knew about Maddie was what we talked about at Signee, and that she rode horses. Which is what I really, I really respect that, because I've tried, and me and horses, we just don't, we don't get along. Which you might be shocked, because Mr. Ed. But I'm always going to remember Maddie. Again, with this April Fool's joke, I was interested to see how people would react. And Miss Colleen was like, only one person cried. And I was like, who was that? And she's like, it was Maddie. And I was like, yes, somebody loves me. And then I found out later from her mom that someone had her phone, and she had actually called her mom. Mom, Mr. Drain's gone. What are you gonna do? And I was like, but that's who Maddie is. Maddie has a big heart, and she wears that heart on her sleeve. And, if you're ever having a bad day, I'd send you to Maddie, because she'll cheer you up and make you laugh. So Maddie, there'll never be another one like you. Pacifica Mahoney. I think of Pacifica, I'm always going to remember her stories and essays. You know, not just because they were enjoyable to read, but because on multiple occasions I had to bust out my dictionary just to figure out what she was saying. You know, she was using words that I didn't know what it meant. You know, I'm not talking about cap and mid here. I'm talking, you know, here's an excerpt. I have an excerpt from one of her stories. It says, "Leave the school at exactly 12 o'clock and bring the information to headquarters in half a fortnight." Now, to 90% of the population, Fortnite is a video game, okay? All right? But did you know, Fortnite actually means a period of 14 days and nights. Okay? Pacifica and I also share a love of golf, right? She's going to start the first golf team at Rio, and I'm going to coach it. Oh, no? Yes, we are. But, Pacifica, you have a bright future, and whether it's with a pen or a 9-iron, I'm confident you'll succeed. Mia Martinez. You know, as I've mentioned before, certain things or names are forever linked together. You know, such as Picasso, Michelangelo, Mia Martinez. Okay, Mia is an incredible artist, and it's rare to find her at school without a notebook and a pencil. One of my favorite things about Mia is for Christmas or teacher appreciation, she would always make handcrafted cards. And those really meant a lot to me, and those were extra special. Believe it or not, I actually keep all those cards. You can ask my wife. So Mia, thank you, and I will certainly miss receiving those cards from you. Damian Mendoza. D-Man, as he's known. There's absolutely no way to have a conversation with Damian and not walk away with a smile. Every teacher I've talked to says he's one of the funniest guys they've ever taught. Damian knows how to make every assignment or activity fun for the whole class. In my opinion, Damian only has one flaw. He's a Rams fan. But don't worry, there's always hope. And Damian, make sure when you become a top-level comedian one day, you give me free tickets to all your shows. Thank you. Michael Moeller. Something that I'm always going to appreciate about Michael is that he was the only one who laughed at all my jokes. And as a teacher, every teacher needs someone like Michael. He's that confidence booster. For example, I brought some jokes. Okay, ready? Okay. I feel bad for coffee because it gets mugged every day. Or I thought the dryer was shrinking my clothes. Turns out it was the refrigerator the whole time. But with all those laughs comes a brilliant mind, and that's no joke. Mike was the class winner of the Noetic Math Contest, which is a nationwide contest. So congrats again, Mike, and thanks for laughing at all my jokes. Geronimo Moras. Some of you may know that Geronimo is must-see TV on the soccer field. And if you haven't, don't worry. You'll see him playing in the Premier League one day. Okay, some of the reasons I'm sure he dominates on the field are the exact same reasons why he does well in the classroom. He's a top competitor and an extremely hard worker. In fact, in Catalina, in our journal, we had a page for a scavenger hunt. Now, we didn't get to the scavenger hunt. Well, at least everyone but Geronimo didn't get to the scavenger hunt. You know, Geronimo took it upon himself to make sure he collected every single item on that list. And when we got back, he handed me the bag and said, "Here you go, Mr. Drain. Here's the scavenger hunt stuff." So, you know, thanks for Geronimo, and make sure you keep that up in middle school. Adam Pena. You know, something I'll never forget about Adam is just his joyful spirit that he blesses with each day. You know, I can ask Adam to do anything, and he'll respond with an attitude of, that's the most important thing in the world that he has to get done, and he has to get it done in that moment. So I really appreciate that. You know, I wish I could live each day with as much joy as Adam. One memory I'll have is in Catalina, and I'm sure Adam will remember this too. But we were kayaking, and we were trying to, you know, our instructor was trying to get us to beach. So he lined us all in. We had to beach, you know, perpendicular, and we were coming in. But Adam was coming in too hot. He was coming a little too fast. So the guy goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, Kyle Larson, slow down." And if you don't know who Kyle Larson is, he's a NASCAR driver, and Adam is a huge NASCAR fan. But not just that, Kyle Larson is Adam's favorite driver. So, I mean, that was, I don't know how that worked out, but that was incredible. I'm going to remember that forever, and I'm sure he is. But thanks, Adam, for teaching me to have joy every day. All right, Sienna Reynoso. You know, I can honestly say the world needs more Siennas, and let me tell you why. You know, Sienna is unfazed in the face of danger. She makes Chuck Norris look like a fluffy unicorn. And again, in Catalina, we were kayaking, and apparently all the fun stuff happened in Mr. Drain's room, okay? But we were kayaking, and again, we were trying to get on the beach, and Sienna and Maddie's kayak was going a little bit towards a rocky area, let's just say. And Maddie and our instructor's yelling, you know, paddle right, paddle right. And Maddie's in the back just waving her paddle in the air. And Sienna's just in the front, no expression, just going like this. The funny thing about her was she was pedaling straight to the rocks. And I was like, what's, you know, but they, you know, hey, but Sienna kept it cool and made sure they got to shore safely. You know, and as you know, the world is full of challenges. But Sienna is someone I'd like to have as my friend at my side to face it head on. So thank you, Sienna, for all your fearlessness. Nathaniel Riley. You know, one quality I really appreciate about Nate is that he's a perfectionist. You know, Nate won't turn in anything unless in his mind it's perfect. You know, when I remember in writing classes when it was time for everyone to go to snack and everyone bursted out the door because they had to get chocolate milk and muffin. You know, Nate stayed back with Miss Horton, and she would look over his essays because he wanted them to be perfect. And you know, you may not know the challenges you know, Nate has faced in his life, but I can honestly say that, you know, I'm proud of you. You know, for the way you've matured, and thank you, and you know, I'll always be here for you. Leah Rodriguez. You know, I really appreciate how sensitive and caring of a person Leah is. You know, I remember one time our class was having a rough day behavior-wise, so Mr. Drain had to bust out her big boy voice. And but afterwards, Leah was the only person who came up to me and apologized for her behavior. Another thing I'll always remember, you know, for my birthday this year, you know, she went out of her way to paint me a picture of my daughter. And I actually have that right here. So, that's really special to me, and I'm going to keep that. And, I'm going to give it to my daughter one day. And when she asks me who painted it, I'm going to say the coolest Leah I've ever known. So thank you, Leah, for being you every day. Travis Sarton. Travis is one of the most helpful individuals I've ever met. He's more helpful than the helpful Honda guys. One thing I'll always be able to picture in my mind is Travis carrying boxes of food around Catalina Island. Okay, parents, let me put it this way. Okay? If Travis wasn't there, we would still be standing on that island looking at boxes of food, waiting for someone to come pick them up for us. He was so tired because he was so dedicated to his craft that when we were on the boat, he fell asleep with his head in the Cheez-It box. So thank you, Travis, and I expect you to be in Catalina next year. We can't do without you. Isaiah Soto. Isaiah is another soft-spoken and reserved person, but he's not someone who wants to bring attention to himself. But Isaiah is someone that I can always count on. Count on to be honest. Count on for anything. You know how it is. Something happens. You go through the grapevine. You hear about 15 different translations of what happened. So you got to put the detective hat on and figure it out. But I figured it out. I was like, forget the detective hats. I'm just going straight to Isaiah. Okay, because Isaiah always told the truth. In addition, Isaiah and I share a love of baseball. And, thankfully for him, he likes the Dodgers, not that red team that pretends to be from LA. Thank you, Isaiah, for always being, hey, it's true. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Are you LA or Anaheim? No. And thank you, Isaiah, for always being someone I can count on. Gianna Tam. Gianna was new this year, and someone I had never met, before the first day of school. And I think the first thing she ever said to me was, "Do you have food?" And Gianna and I share a love for food. I think every conversation we had this year started with her asking me if I had any food. And when I said no, she would move on to the nearest teacher in sight and ask them the same question. And you know what? Now I know why she's always hungry. Gianna is going to go play water polo at Stanford because she is a junior Olympian. So, I'm certainly glad that she came. She's a breath of fresh air and one of those students any teacher would love to have. So thanks for a great year. And I know what you're thinking. No, I don't have any food right now. Rocco Tardino. Rocco joined our class, I think, a little bit after Thanksgiving. And even though he was on the enemy of the Huskies, he was a great addition to our group. And Rocco made his mark on the class early on when he started bringing a cup of noodles for lunch. And I'm not saying he brought a cup of noodles for his own lunch, because as you know, school lunches can be a little mid. So Rocco started bringing a cup of noodles to sell to his classmates for drain bucks. And let me tell you, business was a booming. Okay, because cup of noodles from Rocco, or Mrs. Ix's fish treasures and a bean and cheese capusa. Okay? You know, I don't even know if I said that right. But Mr. and Mrs. Tardino, I don't know what he told you he was doing with these, but as his teacher, I was impressed. And you know, Rocco, I believe, has great leadership qualities, and I look forward to seeing these qualities progress in middle school. Well, there they are. You know, my 29 bundles of joy that I will I will absolutely never forget this group. They're always going to be special to me. You know, they were my first class ever, and also my first 6th grade class. You know, I have one more story I want to share. Some of you may have noticed, but this is my phone case. If you don't know what that is, it's Coco Melon. Okay, so my phone case broke earlier in the year, and I made a deal with these guys. I said, you know, if you can behave for this day and get all your work done, I will let you pick my new phone case. And that's all it took. That was the best behaved day of the entire year. Okay, so yeah, they researched, they sent me lots of options, and this is the one they came up with, Coco Melon. So you know, every time I look at my phone case, I'm gonna think of these students right here. So I just, you know, I want to say thank you, parents, for the opportunity to teach your children. You know, they've been a huge part. I'm not going to lose the mental game. You know, they've been a huge, why do you guys want to see me cry? You know, they've been a huge part of my life, you know, not just these last 10 months, but these last 3 years. You know, we've been through a lot together, and, you know, I can say with the utmost sincerity that I'm truly sad to see them go. But remember, if you ever need anything, Mr. Drain's got your back. So thank you, and I think now we have a video presentation, so you guys, you're gonna line up on the sides. I'm gonna get this set up.
Take a step inside, our hearts are racing. If it takes forever, we'll
while watching because we got to see sea lions, whales, and dolphins. My favorite subject is art because I get to express myself through my artwork. My favorite class is math because it's always been my favorite subject, and now that I know more, I feel smarter. I love pro because it's the best, and I especially love drama. One of the things that I learned at pro is to always do my best.
After our preparatory, one of my most favorite moments there was when we did the chariot races on Green Day.
My favorite field trip was Korea because we got to hatch fish eggs.
My favorite field trip was Catalina because we got to see all the animals and because I love the beach.
I love the teachers at Pearl, and especially Mr. Drake. At Pearl, I learned to treat others how I wanted to be treated.
My favorite honors class was robotics because we had cool races and won really cool prizes.
My favorite field trip was Riley's Farm because we got to experience what it was like in the Civil War. My favorite subject was math because I got to learn harder stuff in Mrs. Moore's math class. My favorite field trip was Catalina because we got to go snorkeling. One of the things I learned at Pro is that sometimes life is hard, but you have to push through it and try your best.
My favorite honors class is chess because I'm good at it and I win a lot.
My favorite class was Connects because we got to build bridges and test them.
I like Pearl's plays because they're fun to perform in.
My favorite field trip was the Discovery Cube because I could do a lot of different things with my friends.
I love Pearl Park because all the memories I've made here with all my friends.
One thing I learned at Pearl is that you should think before you act, or else you face the consequences.
My favorite class was drama because I could express myself.
My favorite field trip was Catalina because we went to the beach and I got to hang out with my friends.
I love Pearl
because of the trips that you go on, and I'm really looking forward for Rio because of the sports like basketball.
I learned ancient world history and what they did back then.
My most memorable day will probably be Greek Day because we try new food.
The thing that I'll miss most about Pearl is the teachers that taught me all the stuff that I know today.
I like music and recorded with Mrs. Jones.
I love Pearl because my friends are always there for me and